Welcome to the JCPod, partnered with Stare Down Sports. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Parnell, and Week 15, already over. Felt like it was crazy when I came over here and said Week 14 was over last week, and now Week 15 is over. We have the Panthers. They win another game. The Chiefs, are they dead? The Eagles, are they dead? The Cowboys, they gotta be dead. It's a really wild week in the NFL. 4-0 to start the bowl season in college football. I can't wait to talk about that. Bowling season. It's upon us, man. We have week 2, got a game tonight, game tomorrow, I think even. Then we go into some games this weekend. It's going to be a good one today. Basically, you know how it goes on Tuesdays. I'm basically just going to react to everything that was in the NFL. Talk a little bit about the NFL playoffs today and how that's looking. And then we'll finish it off today with basically talking about college football and the bowl games that have happened. And then maybe the 1 or 2 to look forward to. And then we're right back to Thursday already. Man. Shout out to Stare Down Sports, by the way. Partnered with them, of course. If you want to check out any written work or things going on around the leagues and everything, feel free to check it out. But yeah, without any further ado, let's hop right into the NFL. Week 15, man. Thursday Night Football. This was the game that led to Brandon Staley getting fired. I don't think I've talked about that on my show yet, actually. Yeah, Brandon Staley officially out as a head coach. We have now had, I think, 3 or 4 coaches fired. Okay, sorry. Ian Rappaport was saying something about Jalen Hurts. I thought it was, although there was a quote or something important, he just came out with the story about their loss last night, which is nothing I'm going to talk about. That was crazy. Shout out Drew Lock, man. Also, some other news. Taylor Heinicke is going to start for the Atlanta Falcons. So I guess, before we hop into the Thursday night game, let's talk about some, man, Ritter getting benched again. I don't know if he's coming back. Feels like we don't know what to do anymore, so Ritter gets sacrificed. Ritter's not been good, but he doesn't deserve to be scapegoated like this. That's what a fan just said, and then another fan comes in. Arthur's got bad play calling that. I don't think anyone could survive, but Ritter isn't helping much with these turnovers. I think those 2 tweets, those are from 2 fans on X, right under Ian Rappaport's story. I think they say it best. I'll talk about that Falcons game. We'll get there in a minute. We could talk about it right now. I mean, them and the Raiders are basically... Them and that Raiders-Chargers game are in both very similar situations, somewhat, but for different reasons. So, yeah, that'll probably be the game we'll talk about next. We'll talk about that Raiders game first because we can just blow through it quick. 63-21, but it was not that close. 21-0 to end half. It was just funny because Brandon Staley came out the week before. And so, 4 days later... the Raiders lost 3-0 to the Vikings. 4 days later, put up 63, set a franchise record on them Charger boys. How about that, huh? Brandon Staley out. GM Tom Telesco out. I think they even fired somebody else from there. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I'll go back through it again. If I missed it, we'll go back through it again on news if I happen to see it. But yeah, bro. It's crazy. Honestly, crazy world of Chargers. It's just funny, Brandon. What I was trying to say earlier before I mentioned them getting out, what Brandon Staley said earlier was, listen, I think somebody asked him about the message still getting through. The guy's like, listen, well, and this is a week before this game, mind you. So this is about, I think, Sunday night, probably, or Sunday after the game. So this is just under a week. He was sitting there. Brandon Staley goes, yeah, if my message wasn't getting through, the doors would get blown off us, and we get blown out of the stadium. And that hasn't happened yet, so I think the message is still getting through. Very next game. I mean, it was... Raiders go up, let's see, 42-0 at half. Second largest halftime lead in NFL history. NFL history. That's how bad this loss was for the Chargers. They were down 42-0 at half. Game finished at 63-21. I felt like it probably could have got a little bit uglier than this. I feel like the Raiders probably... Obviously, they still try to score a little bit. Devontae Adams ended up scoring later, which was awesome for a bet I had. But it felt like this team, they started to park it a little bit. They're like, all right, we're 42-0. We're decently good. They still kept it on a little bit though because they had to keep the momentum up from. Obviously, they didn't score. What was it? They didn't score last week. They had literally 3 points. So they had to keep it up at least a little bit. Yeah, sorry, I was trying to read something as well while I was doing that, just to see if it was, I thought it was something about the Raiders, it was not. So yeah, we have some Saturday games we should probably talk about for the the Atlanta game. I didn't even think about that. I forgot we were split up in different days. So that's Thursday, man. Start off Thursday this week. The Raiders just absolutely blow the absolute doors off of the Chargers. Ugly for the Chargers there. Easton Stick did not look too good. So that brings them in the Saturday with them Colts, baby. They were the second game. The first game, Bengals-Vikings. This was actually like a really interesting and weird game. Back and forth, man. Bengals get an opening field goal. Then we get 2 touchdowns in a row. And then a field goal by Minnesota. And in the fourth quarter, T. Higgins, man. Oh, my. What a touchdown by him. That was a really awesome play. He's basically toe taps it as he's falling out of bounds. Reaches over to cross the sideline. Absolutely insane play by T. Higgins. Shout out to him, man. Joe Mixon adds a rushing touchdown. Shout out Chris Rose, by the way. I didn't know I forgot Chris Rose did NFL games along with John Boy Media. When I saw my John Boy Media, for whatever reason, my brain was just like, oh, this is all he does. I didn't put 2 and 2 together like, hey, this is the football guy on NFL Network. But that's pretty cool to see. Shout out my guy Chris Rose. Love listening to him. Nick Mullins had an insane. Shout out to Jordan Addison, man. Jordan Addison had a day. Insane catch by him on his first touchdown where he barely had to bend it over. And the second one was just as good. Jake Mullins throws it across his body, back across towards the field, and Addison catches it over a linebacker. That was pretty insane to watch. But then, that first touchdown I told you about T. Higgins was not the toe tap. The second one was the toe tap. The first one he just ran out of the end. This was the one where he basically mosses a man, toe taps, reaches the ball over the end line and falls back. That was a really, really insane play. That was with 48 seconds left to put in the OT. And then there was OT. And we got OT. The Bengals ended up winning in OT. Wow. I won't lie. Nick Mullins actually did a lot better than I thought he would, so I'll give him credit for that. Sorry. I thought he didn't. Okay, it was just another thing about Drew Lock. I have Ian Rappaport's notifications on for accident, just so anytime during the show, especially too when I'm talking, if he pops up and there's big news, I can just look down and be like, oh. Yeah, but no, that was about Drew Lock and Lisa Salters in her interview, so that didn't matter. Yeah, first game of the I won't lie. So to go from 63-21 on Thursday night, the first Saturday game was a close one. This was a close one. I'm going to pat myself on the back, too. Saturday was elite when it came to sports gambling and on the football. I probably had one of the best weekends I've had all year, especially football-wise. I had an insane weekend. I'm not going to go over numbers. I'm not going to brag or anything because that's not what I'm here for, but I was going to give myself a quick pat on the back because, wow, that was a really, really fun ride. And it started with this game. Had a little bit on the Bengals. Decided to ride them a little bit. Also, hey, we're going to talk about Pickem a little bit later. Your boy won a week. Let's go. All of a sudden, man, the Falcons win. We're right back. We'll talk about that in a minute. Bengals, by the way, good win by the Bengals, 27-24. Big win for them. They needed that win, too, for the playoffs because a lot of teams behind them and right in front of them won, so they needed this to keep pace with the AFC. But yeah, this is a good game to start off, and then you got the shoe, baby. Colts-Steelers. Colts haven't beat the Steelers since 2008. It felt like this game was going to be different. This game was different. Pittsburgh, I think, goes down right away, and they end up scoring. Mitchell Trubisky ends up scoring on a touchdown. The Colts end up turning the ball over. I can't remember if this is a game or not. This might be the wrong game, but there's a game where I think this was a game, if I'm not mistaken, where the Colts either got what happened? I can't remember. They fumbled. Something happened where they gave the ball to the Steelers again, like right away in the end zone, and so they got another score right away, basically, damn near. I can't remember, man. Maybe this is it. I don't know. I can't, for whatever reason, remember how this happened, but the Steelers went up 13-0 right away. And they're sitting there, it's like, oh, okay, Colts should be. I honestly, I was scared for like 20 seconds. I'm like, it's Mitch Trubisky. We'll be fine, right? Right? And sure enough, we were fine. What I said on the show, and I said it on my article, the Colts score over 20 points. I don't know if the Steelers will score 20. Steelers got 2 touchdowns right at 13. Didn't score the rest of the game. Matt Gay, he's missing some kicks. So that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on for the Colts. He's in a little rough patch. He was like automatic to start the year. He did miss a 56-yarder, so I'm not going to give him too much heart. But he was drilling them for to start the year. His 56-yard, he shanked it horribly. It wouldn't be that bad if he didn't miss it as bad as he did. So it just makes me wonder. There's something going on, but I trust in my guy Matt Yeh. He'll get it done, hopefully. Then yeah, shout out DJ Montgomery. Whew. Nice little 10 for 120 on that boy this weekend. Love to see that. And I'm talking about the betting, not the catches and yards. Zach Moss, he had a touchdown as well. Mo Alley had a touchdown. This was just a really good game by the Colts. This was a game where losing to the Steelers this was really eye-opening for a lot of people. The biggest thing I want to talk about from this game is the Steelers as a whole. I don't know if Tomlin doesn't trust the team or what. They're ass backwards this year is the best way to put it. End of half. There's like 25 seconds left in the half, and they could just go in the locker room. Throw. 3 straight plays. First down, second down, third down, throw. And then they end up, I think they had to like punt it away or something. Or I think they might have got the throw, and then the time went out at half. I don't remember exactly, but it was something that was like, all right, that's really weird. And then the second half, they're down 11. They need it. They run the ball in a situation where they 100% should pass. And then there's a time, down 11. They kick a field goal. They can cut it to 8. They're at the 39-yard line. Don't even attempt a field goal. They just punt it away. Colts end up driving back down the field and getting a field goal of their own, and that basically iced the game from there. I don't know. Tomlin got it rough right now. I don't know if it's just... I don't think Tomlin should definitely get fired. I wonder if his voice is getting heard. He's been there for one... You always know the old adage, like, he's been there for a long time. At a certain point, your voice just doesn't get heard. I'm starting to wonder if his voice isn't getting heard, because this team does not look like the Pittsburgh Steelers of old. They just seem off. I understand Kenny Pickett's not in. I know. They just seem off. That's the best way to put it. Shout out to the Colts, little man. Big win. The Steelers get bumped out of the playoffs. This was a game for the playoffs. This was a playoff game. Week 15 playoff game, because both the Steelers were the 6th seed, Colts were the 7th seed. Colts with the win. They ended up staying at the 7th seed due to some wins, but that was a massive win for the Colts. Still in the playoff picture. Let's go, boys. Super Bowl ticket. Still alive. Now, moving on. Detroit Lions, Denver Broncos. Now, this was a game that capped off my night amazingly. I was ecstatic, boy. I tell you what. Just to go over it, so basically, the biggest reason I love this so much is I was just live bet. At this point, I made a good amount of money. I was just live betting, so I was sitting here. First off, 0-0 first quarter. I thought there's a chance it might be a little bit competitive. I was sitting there. Shout out Jared Goff, though. 5 touchdown passes. Ooh, 278 passing. My lordy. But yeah, I was sitting there. I'm live betting. I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling Sam Laporta. We're going to do Sam Laporta live bet. Boom. Sam Laporta scores. Next possession, I'm like, I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs is going to score this possession. Boom. Jahmyr Gibbs scored. I will lie. This was one of the craziest things betting-wise. I was just on a run. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? Amon-Ra. Next guy. Boom. Amon-Ra scores. And then for the Broncos, I'm sitting there. I'm trying to pick 3 people to score from the Broncos. Already have a ton of money on Courtland Sutton to score. I also bet Javonte Williams because I thought he would have scored. He got one call back later in the game that hurt. But the third guy, I was like, you know what? Little Jordan Humphrey is sitting there plus 1,200. I'm like, why not just take him? Because especially at this point, they were down a lot. I'm like, plus 1,200, 10 to win 20. Gives me something to root for besides Javonte Williams and Courtland Sutton. And sure enough, Little Jordan scores. So I predicted the first 4 touchdown scores. And that was insane. Literally, like, and I'm telling you, like, these are a live bet. So it was like live bet on the drive about. I'm not gonna act like I bet it before the drive started. I'm some super sleuth or something. But it's about midfield. Most of these drives, I'm like, you know what? I just have an inkling feeling. Boom, this guy. Because I was waiting for odds, honestly. Like that's the biggest thing I like about live betting. Sometimes, obviously, it can come and bite you in the ass. But like, I love the ability to be able to get some of these like better odds, man. Because like, for example, we'll try to find it real quick. Because I did it with Mike Evans and David Njoku the next day, but yeah, like Amon-Ra live was plus 310, Jahmyr Gibbs live was plus 105, Sam Laporta plus 210. Those numbers were not there pregame, and obviously for a reason because the game started by that point. But yeah, it was pretty awesome because that was about as fun as the game got. 42-17. That was a blowout. It got really, really ugly. This Lion team's at its best when it's up 10, and sure enough, they were up 10 plus most of the game. That was just a really good game by the Vikings, the Lions, honestly. Lions just played really, really well. Not much more to talk about. They still don't know how I feel about them for the playoffs. I still think they make it, but I don't know. I don't know how much of a threat they are. It feels like that's watching all these teams in the NFC, especially with how the Cowboys had a rough game. I mean, it makes you feel like the 49ers are the team, huh? No, I don't know if anyone's going to beat them. But yeah, we'll move on to Sunday now. Falcons, Panthers. This is a game I want to talk about, mainly for Pickem. They boned me, I tell you what. I usually wait to show Pickem till the following... Usually wait to show it till Thursday, but we'll just show it on this episode real quick just because I won. So, hey, shout out. No, if you look, though, man, that Atlanta game is my most pissed game of the week. I missed the Atlanta game because I had a 15 on them. Nobody else really did. The main people I need to pass are these three right here, and then right there. And I mean, the Herb with the 12, that's the one where it'd been like, whatever. But 10-6-6, that was a huge one, man. I'm really sad about that one. It's all right, though. Like I said, it is what it is. It happens. Damn it, bro. Falcons, man. I talked about it. They're starting Taylor Heineke now. I don't know. It was a really rainy game. I mean, honestly, this was like the only way the Panthers probably could stay in the game. It was pouring down rain. I mean, literally, I can't talk about, this game was just pouring down rain. Both these teams did a whole lot of nothing. I mean, 12 for 20, 150, 18 for 24, 160 with the passing. Tyler Algier got the bulk of the carries. Chuba Hubbard had 22 for 87. Kyle Algier had 14 for 45. Breezon Robinson had 7 for 11. This felt like a game Bijan should have got the ball way more, but he just didn't. I'm not going to comment on Arthur Smith's play calling. I love Arthur Smith, the guy. But the coach, I'm just starting to... I won't lie, this Falcon team, Bill Simmons said it best. They won the award for the most frustrating team this year when it comes to betting. You bet on them, you hate yourself, and you get pissed off why you did it. You bet against them, you hate yourself, and you're pissed off because you don't get it. I mean, this team has been so wildly consistent on... this team is a more talented, better version of the Packers. Is that safe to say? This team and the Packers are identically similar to me, except for I think that the Falcons are slightly more talented. You see it, the Falcons. Every week it's inconsistency, and that's a big thing. I mean, they're a young locker room. I think that they would really, I think they need a veteran leader in there. Don't get me wrong, Cordero Patterson, he could be one. Calais Campbell, he can be one on the defense. I'm talking about that quarterback position, man. Like, don't get me wrong, Taylor Heineke probably isn't too bad either, but they need they need a tone setter. That's the best way to put it. Nothing against Desmond Ridder, nothing against Taylor Heineke. I think they're both are good. I think Taylor Heineke's slightly better than Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder has a lot of talent, and he just turns the ball over too much, man. This Falcons team, I don't know. Shout out to the Panthers, get their second win. I don't know. This game, I don't know if the Falcons are going to do anything this year. Arthur Smith, is his job on the line? I don't think so, but after this loss now, I don't know. Anything's up in the air. I don't know. This team the way that game happened, I don't know how to view this team now. Truly. The Falcons that lose to the Panthers, that's, oh, shit. I don't know how to evaluate that. We're going to bounce around now, so some of these games are not the 1 o'clock games, but we'll go here and there. Shout out Raheem Mostert. Gave this bet out as well on my show. Raheem Mostert scored 2 touchdowns. I wish I would have bet him 2. Damn it, because Mixon and Henry, they did not score 2. But shout out Joe Mixon. He continues to give me a jam. And he set his record for most rushing touchdowns in a single season, passing Mark Clayton. Shout out Raheem Mostert because, 30-0 ass-beating. Jets out of playoffs. Rodgers probably not returning. If he does return, he's probably returning to... my guess is he's probably just returning to get back in the feel of things, get back in the flow of things, get used to being around the team and everything. I don't think it's him actually going to be playing this season. If he does play this season, shout out to him, but there's really no reason for him to come back at this point because, that was an ass-beating. Same thing here, Tommy DeVito. Ass-beating. 24-6. Man, this was one of those games. Tommy DeVito, 20 for 34, 177. He didn't have the best game. This, it sucks. He got hit a lot. Didn't look the best, and it's one of those games. Saquon, 9 carries for 14 yards. Nothing went right for the Giants. Everything went pretty good for the Saints. Still feel the same I do about the Saints as I felt these past few weeks. I don't trust Derek Carr. I am very intrigued to see how they play against the Rams on Thursday night. I can see Saints. There is a chance the Saints win. I'm not gonna lie, but I can't bet. You won't see me betting the Saints on Thursday. I'll probably be on the Rams somehow. But this Saints team is confusing, man. They're second in the South. It's pretty much, I think it's going to be them and Tampa Bay for the race now. Falcons losing to the Panthers. That, obviously, I think they can still beat any team in this division, but I think that kind of takes them a little bit out of contention. I at least take them a little less serious now after losing that game. I understand it's a division game. Anything can happen. It's pouring down rain, but I mean, the Falcons legit should have won the game, but they just continue to fumble in the end zone. I mean, I don't know how many times you can fumble and turn the ball over in the red zone before it affects you, and it just gets to the point where it's not doable. Where do we want to move to next? There's a good amount of games. Like, this wasn't, like, name-wise, it wasn't the best, but there's a lot of cool stuff on the slates. Oh, yeah, Michael Pittman also got knocked out by DeMonte Casey. That's something I want to remind. And DeMonte Casey out for the remainder of the season without pay. Without pay, that is kind of insane. I do genuinely feel for the guy, but apparently he's had like 5 of these. I haven't followed the Steelers that closely, so I'm not 100% sure, but apparently this guy's had these issues all year. It's like his 5th one, I think. I think it's like his 5th one he's had to deal with. I don't know. It just I thought it was kind of much. I understand him getting ejected because, I mean, if you look at... I won't lie. I looked at the video again, and you literally see him go like this with the crown of his head to hit Michael Pittman in the head. I get, like, it's hard to... it's a hard position for DBs. I totally understand that. I get that. It's hard to change your... he's diving for the catch. Do I hit him in the shoulder? Do I hit him in the ribs? All that. But, I mean... It's just the fact that I think he lowered his head, went right into Michael Pittman's head. If you watch the video, I mean, I can definitely see why he shouldn't get ejected. But I definitely, in my opinion, watching that, I'm like, okay, I kind of understand why they ejected him now. Because once you see him like lower his head like this, I mean, they're trying to get that out of the game. So and then just him being suspended for the whole season, though, that is wild. Absolutely wild. 49ers win 45-29. This game was actually somewhat interesting just for the fact the Cardinals were able to like kind of keep pace, keep it close. 200 yards rushing, the Cardinals had. That's pretty good. I'm trying to see who they got it all from, though. They're rushing 64 from DeMercado, 86 from James Conner, 49 from Kyler Murray. I don't know why that came out like that. Michael Carter got 27 himself. Dortch had 5. Rondale Moore had 3. So, I mean, there was a lot of... I mean, that was the one thing that went right for the Cardinals. They were able to run all over the 49ers. So that's hopefully, I mean, that's the biggest reason I'm going to bring that up. Is hopefully that's something that other teams can peek into, kind of look at. Because if the Cardinals were able to do it, and they haven't had the best season, maybe some other teams can find some schemes and be like, hey, let's try to add that to our. Because, yeah, other than that, I don't think there's too much to talk about. Christian McCaffrey, I think, had 3 of them things. He did have 3 of them things. I think Debo had 1 or 2. Yeah, just shout out the 49ers, man. Big win. They clinch a playoff spot, I believe. I think the Cowboys and Eagles are clinched, and the same with the 49ers, I believe, are clinched. Or 49ers clinched the division as well. I guess we're moving on. Bills Cowboys. Shout out CeeDee Lamb scoring very, very late. That was another one of those, oh, thank the Lord. I won't lie, I put a little bit too much than I should have on him, and I think because he's on an NBA Jam, so I'm like, oh, he's going to score regardless. We'll be all good. He needs to score for them to win. I won't lie, this Cowboys on the road, man. I don't know if I can believe this team anymore. If they got to play a road game, they have not. I think if they get a home game, of course they're going to be good. They'll have a chance to play good. But I mean, man, the home and versus away stats are actually just like insane. And I mean, you saw Dak. Dak today played. I understand it was weather, but they played horrible. 21 for 34 for 134, 1 touchdown. I mean, Josh Allen only had 94 passing yards. If you look at the running backs, 25 carries for 179 yards. I'm very happy about this for the Bills. This is my biggest thing. I forget who the new OC is, but shout out to him, man, actually running the ball, giving James Cook touches. I think that's the main reason why the Bills are looking like how they are as of late. They're giving James Cook touches. They're actually running the ball and helping out Josh Allen, and that's what they've needed to do pretty much all season, but Ken Dorsey wasn't doing it for whatever reason. I don't know, man. I think this was a really good win by the Bills. I don't have anything too disparaging to say against the Cowboys. I mean, I know the Bills are 6-6, but they're still a good football team, man. They've had their struggles, they've had their issues. They still have a lot of talented guys in that roster. Their defense played a lot, really impressive. It's the Cowboys on the road, man. If they're going to continue to play like this every single road game, it's just at that point it's just be like, all right, I know. When they come on a road game, they just aren't going to be worth a shit. Until they get that figured out, though, yeah, it's gonna be hard for me to take them as a Super Bowl contender if you can't win on the road. And don't get me wrong, I get they played some really good teams on the road, but to lose 5, I mean, it was like the 49ers, the Eagles, the Bills, somebody else again. There's like 5 good teams they played, and they lost to all of them on the road. And it's like you got to at least win one of those, because not winning any of them, it's like, oh, I don't know now. Like I said, shout out to the Bills. Nothing against the Cowboys. Cowboys are still 10-4, made the playoffs. I still think they can be decent in the playoffs. Now when it comes to a road game, I'm gonna be a little more keep my eye on them. Kansas City, New England. Kansas City wins 27-17. Shout out Rashee Rice. He's starting to make a name for himself. Big game. Had a nice little three-legger in with him that he hit. Mahomes, 27 for 37, 305, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a nice-ass catch. So shout out to him. Rashee Rice, 9 targets, 9 receptions, 91 yards. That's how you earn yourself some trust. Hunter Henry had a nice day for the Patriots as well. Same story, different week, though. Bailey Zappi looks pretty good in the first half, and then the second half he can't do much of anything. The Patriots did get a rushing touchdown late to kind of somewhat make it a little bit more interesting, but, I mean, this Patriots team just stood like no chance. The biggest issue I saw, I'll also shout out to Jared McKinnon threw a patch touchdown on the weird formation they had where Patrick Mahomes was in a 3-point stance behind the line. They had a funky formation offense. That was really cool to see. Biggest thing about this game, though, Kadarius Toney, I'm not gonna bash the guy. I think that everyone is doing their numbers and rounds on him, so I don't think I need to get in the spanking line and do it myself. But man, that guy can't seem to catch a break, can he? I've never seen a ball just float in the air like that. I don't know what it is about Kadarius Toney and his drops, but his drops, for whatever reason, just seem to find their way into the defensive hands. It just sucks for him because I feel like at a certain point, Mahomes isn't going to throw him the ball anymore. Like, realistically, Toney is super, super talented, but at least once a game now, he's just fumbling the ball away because he's trying to catch it. He's bobbling with his hands, and all of a sudden ends up in the other guy's hands. Honestly, it's just a matter of time before it gets to the point where he's like, all right, I just can't throw you the ball anymore. I mean, you saw Mahomes get off the field. I don't know if he was frustrated. I don't know if it was at Toney or what, but he seems to say every fucking game, damn it. And then he just says, like, every game, and he goes off about something. I don't know if that's towards Toney and his drops or just, like, the interceptions and everything or stuff going wrong. It go towards anything, but that's a really bad sign. That's, like, the one thing I took out from this game. The Chiefs are going to beat the Patriots by 10. They end up covering. If there's not another quarterback in, if there's a different quarterback in for the Patriots, they maybe not cover, but they also don't have any good weapons at all. So, I don't know. It's just this Chiefs team. They're 9-5, and it feels like they've just had a really weird season. But ending with the Raiders, Chargers, Bengals. Bengals a game sandwich in between two division games. I think that the Chiefs will be okay. Mahomes will probably have to have his first road game of his career. Nothing wrong with that at all. I think it's going to come down to. I think they finally need to get an extra receiver too. Imagine DeAndre Hopkins on this team. Imagine Julio Jones on this team. They really should have got a veteran receiver. I think that room could really, really use a vet receiver. Bears-Browns. This was oddly really good. Joe Flacco had 3 interceptions, I believe, and then he ended up having a game-winning drive to come back from it. Shout out Joe Flacco, man. He didn't have too horrible of a game, honestly. This was just really good back and forth. Bears led it for a lot of it, and then like I said, Bears just couldn't put him away, so they gave Joe Flacco a chance, and he ends up having a game-winning drive. That's just, I was ready to come on here in the show and see, like, man, Joe Flacco might not be his time, but I don't know. I still can't properly evaluate Joe Flacco. I still don't know if he's just that old guy that's hanging around or what. But, 374. He had 374, 3 touchdowns, I believe. 2 touchdowns, an interception. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I won't lie, though. Joe Flacco had some really nice throws. There was especially on the game-winning drive, he had some really, really nice throws that I saw. So it's something that this Browns team might be something to worry about. It generally might be something to worry about. I won't lie, I thought the Bears might be able to get him in that spot. That felt like a really good spot for the Bears, especially with all the injuries the Browns were suffering. But I don't know. Shout out to Matt Eberflus, though. He might have been able to keep his job the way he's been coaching and playing this last few weeks. So shout out to him for probably keeping his job potentially. I don't know if they move on from it at the end of the year, but at least if they do, it's not disgraceful. 5-9 is not anything to be mad at, especially with this team. I didn't think the Bears were going to win more than 3 games this year, so 5-9, shout out to them. That's pretty impressive. Texans-Titans, this was a really fun game. This goes into overtime. The Titans end up losing it in overtime. Very cocky move. They wore the Houston Oilers jerseys against the Houston Texans, and I don't think the Houston Texans took too kindly to that. Will Levis had a really freaky injury. We're going to see what's wrong with him. He hurt his ankle pretty bad. We're going to have to see what's up with him. I don't know truly what it is just yet. They said an ankle sprain. The way the injury looked, I thought it was going to be way worse than just an ankle sprain. So I guess shout out to being young. His body was able to bend a little bit better. But It's a high ankle sprain, so I don't know what. We'll see. Who was it? Somebody came back from a high. Trevor Lawrence played the next week on a high ankle sprain. Kenny Pickett's been out for 3 weeks. So obviously, I don't know what an ankle. I don't know how severe an ankle sprain is for these guys. I've dealt with ankles myself. They suck. I mean, like I said, I've dealt with my fair share of ankle injuries, and yeah, they aren't fun. But man, usually high ankle sprains are supposed to sit out a little bit, but some of these guys can come back right away. So we'll have to see. But yeah, Derrick Henry. The biggest thing from this game takeaway: Derrick Henry. 16 rushes, 9 yards, worst of his career. First time he's come out talking like maybe I'm not a Titan anymore. If that's really what this truly is. His last season in Tennessee, I just want to say shout out to Derrick Henry, man. There are some years he seriously he was that team, and I mean it just sucks that they weren't able to get the correct pieces just around him. But I mean that happens to a lot of guys in the NFL. 16 for 9. That's not Derrick Henry numbers. That's absolutely disgusting. Yeah, man. Just shout out to the Texans, man. They just find another way to win. D'Amico Ryan's clutch win from them. The Titans are, I don't think they're officially eliminated from the playoffs, but they can't win the division for sure now. And if they can't win the divisions, I would think it's safe to say they probably ain't making the playoffs. So shout out to the Texans. That was a massive win by them. Especially with the Jaguars lost now, the Texans and Colts. We'll talk about divisions in what? We'll talk about divisions in about 3 to 4 games. Hey now, the AFC South is starting to get a little close. Speaking of the South, NFC South, Bucks 34-20 win over the Packers. Felt really good about this one. I'm glad I picked this game right. I was shocked how many people in Pickem were on the Packers. Just like the Packers defense has played way too inconsistent. The Packers offense has played way too inconsistent. We see it happen again. Their defense just kind of pooped the bed. They are not very good. Their defense isn't that good. They have all these guys. It's the same issue every single year. 21 carries, 89 yards for Rachaad White, averaging 4.2 a carry. Could not stop the run. Baker Mayfield, first perfect passer rating ever by an opponent in Lambeau. 22 for 28, 381, 4 touchdown. I mean, Baker Mayfield was just slicing and dicing. Chris Godwin, 10 for 156. Mike Evans had the touchdown for them on 4 for 57 and a touchdown. I mean, David Moore had a touchdown, 2 for 68. Rachaad White had the touchdown. I mean, they just beat these boys' ass. Yeah, that was really not a good game for Jordan Love and the boys. Tough game for Jordan Love and the boys. Jordan Love didn't play the worst, though, honestly. I thought he actually had a fairly decent game. 29 for 39, 284 and 2 wasn't horrible at all. He definitely missed a few throws here, so don't get me wrong. It definitely wasn't just only he definitely had some causes in the loss, but it wasn't totally on him. I put more of it on the defense. I mean, there was plays where they finally get the Bucks in second and 22. They get 21 yards, it's 3rd and 1. 2nd and 29, they get the first down. I mean, there was so many 3rd and 15. Bucks get the first down. I mean, the Packers defense would get them back, and then just somehow they would just give up the first down. And yeah, you can't do that if you want to win football games. That was just a totally boneheaded after boneheaded plays on defense by them, which is moral of the story for the Packers teams. Ty Schmidt said it best on the Pat McAfee show. He was literally said the Packers defense has been good in 2 years. In the 2 years they won the Super Bowl. Because, I mean, if you look, some of these teams, man, these Packers teams are literally getting killed because of their defense. And this is another Packers team where their defense just doesn't seem to, for whatever reason, just can't seem to get the job done right. I mean, there's some weeks they do, and they look all right. And then other weeks when it feels like the weeks when they really, really need it, they just can't seem to get it. Ravens 23, Jaguars 7. Keaton Mitchell, man, that's a sad injury. I'm not gonna talk about that too much because it's disgusting. Injuries suck. The way his injury happened sucks. His injury sucks. That image sucks. It's just nothing good about it at all. Absolutely disgusting. What was good about the Ravens though? Isaiah Likely. Ravens also clinched a playoff spot after the win. Isaiah Likely, though, hey now, dude was balling, man. He had an amazing catch towards the end of the game. Smoot. Lamar Jackson gets out of a sack from Smoot, throws it up. Isaiah Likely catches it, and you just see Smoot looking at Lamar going, how? And he just shakes his head and just, I mean, I won't lie. Lamar had a baller of a game in this game. This is the 14 for 24 for 171, one touchdown, one interception. People be like, oh, those numbers aren't too bad. 12 for 97 rushing. So, I mean, he has 260 all-purpose yards, one touchdown, one interception. Losing Keaton Mitchell is really definitely going to hurt them. He was such a promising star. He was their speed guy at back. He was doing really, really good, too, before he got hurt. 9 for 73. Man, I won't lie. These Jaguars might be a little bit fraudulent. I mentioned it. They just seem to, like, when they play the good teams, they just don't play well. We can go back and look at history. They have Bucks, Panthers, Titans in their season, so hopefully the Titans can do us a favor as a Colts fan, because the Titans win that. I think it's going to come down to the Bucks game for the Jaguars. The Jaguars win that Bucks game, I think they make the playoffs, because the Colts are probably going to go 2-1 in their schedule. I assume the Texans are going to go. I don't know. The Texans probably go about 2-1 as well. So if the Jaguars do that, Jaguars get the tiebreaker. So that's just the biggest thing. But yeah, I mean, you look at the 49ers. Jaguars lost 34-3. Bills. They did beat the Bills 25-20. That was a good one. I will give them credit for. Chiefs lost 17-9. They got 3 tests against really good teams. The Bengals, another one, lost 34-31. So they've gotten 4 to 5 tests now against good teams, and the Bengals game was the only game where I'd say they actually played like relatively close and played it well. Other than that, most of these other games they've not played too well at all. It's been pretty ugly. Yeah, the Jaguars team, I just don't. I think they're looked at better than what they truly are. They still aren't a bad team, but I'm not acting like I'm not saying the Jaguars are an absolutely horrible team. I think they're definitely better than what they've been in years past, but I don't know. Against these good teams, they just continue to struggle and not. They were just trying to give away the game, it felt like, for the longest time. A really dumb end-of-half decision by the Jaguars to check it down. Don't spike it, check it down. Then the time runs out. I don't know. This team just feels really, really weird. I can't seem to get my head wrapped around them. So, I mean, if they make the playoffs, it's going to be interesting. I think whoever comes out of the AFC South is going to be interesting because now, I don't know. I can't wait to talk about it here in a second after this last game. Eagles-Seahawks. Jalen Hurts, 2 rushing touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions, one of them being big to the end of the game. He did not have that good of a game, 17 for 143. Drew Lock, though, 22 for 33, 208, 1 touchdown. Eagles defense, there's something wrong, man. There's something wrong with that defense. They had Matt Patricia calling plays, still didn't seem to matter. They still, when it mattered, were giving up big chunks of plays. They got some key stops, indeed, but man-to-man coverage. They just let Jackson Smith and Jigbo run right by one of the corners. He just basically runs right by them for the lead at the end of the game. Jalen Hurts, then they get to midfield. They have about like 20-something seconds. They can definitely get a field goal if they need to. Throws a pick and double coverage that, I'm not going to lie, it definitely wasn't a pick once I saw the replay, but, I mean, it's the NFL. I could also see, I thought it was at first an interception when you caught it live. I thought it still did tap into the closer and it didn't. I can get them saying there's not enough conclusive evidence to overturn it, but it probably should have been. But it is what it is. The Eagles are just really struggling, man. Really, really, really struggling. I don't know what's. They just are not right. I mean, I didn't think losing obviously losing Steichen and Gannon, I knew that would make a bit of a difference. They're still 10-4, by the way. So this team is still a good team. It's just they've played. I think they've lost 3 in a row now. Biggest losing streak in Jalen Hurts' career as a pro. They've lost to 49ers, Cowboys, and Seahawks. First 2 were at least excusable because it's like, okay, somewhat understandable, especially the Cowboys because they were at Jerry World. So it's like, all right. And they already beat the Cowboys earlier in the season. So it's like, okay, hard to beat a team twice. 49ers, they're the best team in the NFC. You can understand that's like, all right. They beat you guys down good. We get that. This Seahawks game, man, they had Drew Lock into. This is the one where it's like, uh-oh. Are the Eagles in trouble? Eagles play Giants, Cardinals, Giants, so, they'll probably go 3-0 to end it. So, thankfully, they don't got to worry about anything. But biggest thing is shout to the Seahawks, man. Because I remember I said it a month ago. They were going to potentially go 0-4 in this stretch against the 49ers, Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles. They survive. They go 1-3. So, they play the Titans, Steelers, Cardinals. They win 3 games. All of a sudden, they're 10-7, so they have a chance to end out their season. 10-7 gets you in a playoff game, potentially. So, shout out to the Seahawks, man, saving their season. This was a season-saving win. Because if they lose this game, I don't think the Seahawks necessarily make the playoffs. Because I don't think you can make it at 9-8 in the NFC. So this was a massive win by the Seahawks to give themselves a chance to finally do something in the playoffs. Speaking of playoffs, we're going to talk about that real quick. Going into the standings, Baltimore Ravens are your 1 seed with the bye. If playoffs ended today, you got the 2 seed Dolphins playing the 7 seed Colts. Wild. I don't know. I don't know how we'll fare in that one. I'm not gonna lie. not gonna lie. That one makes me a little bit nervous. Chiefs are your 3 seed playing the Bengals at 6 seed. That's gonna be an interesting rivalry game in the first round. And then 4 seed is your Jaguars playing the Cleveland Browns at the 4-5. They already played this season. That'd be an interesting rematch, honestly. Trevor Lawrence maybe a little bit healthier. Ooh, that's a wild one. Now if we look at the NFC. First round, 49ers get the bye. 2 seed Cowboys playing the 7 seed Rams. That'd be kind of interesting. 3 seed Lions playing the 6 seed Vikings. Vikings and Lions play this weekend, so that's going to be a little bit of a teaser for a potential playoff matchup we could have. I think they said Nick Mullins is starting for the Vikings again. And then we got the 4 seed Bucks versus the 5 seed Eagles. Eagles are a tough team. I don't think I'd want to play them in a wild card game. Man, that's wild. But if you look at the AFC, we'll look at the AFC for people just out of the wild card. The Colts and Bengals are both 8-6 in the last 2 wild card spots. You got the Texans and the Bills, both 8-6 right behind them, and then Steelers and Broncos are both 7-7 right there snipping at it. I don't think anybody with 6 wins or below is going to get it. So realistically, the floor is the Broncos, and then you got Steelers, Bills, Texans all fighting for those 2 spots. When it comes to the NFC side, you got the 7-7 Vikings versus 7-7 Rams. You got the 10-4 Eagles in the first wild card spot, and then you got the 7-7 Vikings, 7-7 Rams. I think it's safe to say the Cowboys or the Eagles, one of those 2 teams are going to be in the wild card. Most likely the Cowboys based on the Eagles' end of the schedule. And then, so you got the Seahawks 7-7 right behind them. Like I said, big win to save them. Saints 7-7 right behind them. Falcons are 6-8, and then Packers are 6-8. But I don't think either of those 2 teams are going to need a lot of wins to get there. But yeah, I mean, it's wild, man. This NFL playoff picture doesn't look too bad. Yeah, man, NFL playoffs is about to be wild. It's really weird year. It's a really weird year because of all the quarterback injuries. You've had about, I think, 55 to 56 quarterbacks start a game now in the NFL. And yeah, I mean, like I said, Seahawks and Saints 7-7. They're tied. I mean, we got 4 teams tied for 2 wild card spots. I think in both divisions. Man, it doesn't get any better than that. We'll burn some news real quick. If there's anything like important to miss, like I said, Heineke to start again versus the Colts. I don't know how I feel. I think the Colts should still win that game here with Heineke in, but Heineke in does definitely scare me a little bit more because I don't think there'll be as many turnovers, which kind of stinks. But Georgia's trying to. So the Chargers are apparently trying to chart a new path amid search for head coaching and GM. I don't know what that new path is, but it's just wild to think they have both people open. Apparently, Matt LaFleur said firing embattled DC Joe Barry is not the solution for them. I won't lie, Matt LaFleur might need to go too if he thinks Joe Barry's not the issue. I've heard a lot of people also saying that, but they aren't a big fan of Matt LaFleur, so I'm interested to see how that goes. Jaden Daniels, he's announcing that he's going to go pro. That's going to be interesting to see. Isaiah Pacheco will be returning next week. That's a big return for the Chiefs. They haven't had him the last few weeks as well, and they really could use him. I am very happy though. I am very, very happy though that Bryce Young was able to get another win. That's awesome for him. Truly, I'm very happy for him because I mean he's just been going through so much. I put like a 15-minute rant on. It's not even a rant. I'm almost like a feel bad for on Rowan's show. We were just talking about. It's like I truly felt bad for the kid with how rough it's just been for him. So I'm happy that he's actually able to get a win and get some confidence back. Mason Rudolph is going to start for the Steelers against the Bengals. I agree 100% with Brady right here. The quarterback play does need to get better after the Casey injury. Here's the quote from Brady. Nobody likes players getting hurt, but hard hits happen, Brady commented. QBs should not be throwing the ball in areas where they're exposing their own teammates in these type of hits. Coaches need to coach better. QBs need to read coverages and throw the ball in the right place, and defenders should aim for the right hitting areas. To put the blame on the defensive player all the time is just flat out wrong. Need better QB play. It's not okay to get your wide receivers hit because of your bad decisions. 100% agree. He can't say this any better. I wish they would just. I agree. I think that coaching in the NFL is definitely down a little bit. I think QB play in the NFL is down a little bit. No, I mean like nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. They're just trying to. Obviously, actually, there is something a little bit wrong with it, but I mean, it's nothing horrible. It's not like completely down. It's just it's like what Brady said. Quarterbacks, like, when he grew up playing, like, by the way, completely understand the times need to change because of health and everything. Totally understand we can't just having guys headshotting guys across the middle all the time, but there was a strategic part to that. It's like, hey, you get like Ray Lewis. Like, Brady's come out and said, when I saw 52 over the middle, unless I want to send one of my guys to the hospital, I'm not throwing a drag route with 52 in the area. And that's because if you did, Ray Lewis would pick a receiver out of the game. I mean, literally, there was strategery in throws because it's like, ooh, I can't throw this diving ball to my guy because the safety's right there, and that safety will absolutely kill them. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, for Casey's injury, he definitely lowered his head. I think don't think he should have been suspended the whole season. I definitely think he probably should have been ejected, probably because of that he lowered the head. I do get that, but to suspend him without pay, that's a little too far. And like I said, I agree. I mean, Gardner Minshew probably should lay that ball up a little bit softer, like not throw it as far, throw it a little bit closer so his guy doesn't get drilled like that. But at the same time, that's where Brady's point comes in. It's like some of these quarterbacks are just they need to read coverage better and know, like, hey, that safety's in the area. I need to throw this ball in this spot instead of throwing it 5 yards further where the guy just gets absolutely blown up. Because I think another reason we're seeing so many injuries as well is just, I mean, like, guys just have no fear, and they're throwing hospital balls left and right. Yeah, it's so I completely disagree with Brady there. I think Brady brings up a really, really, really good point. The Cowboys couldn't stop the run this week, so I am very curious to see how that worked against the Dolphins. I did forget to bring that up, looking through stuff. They got gashed by James Cook, so I'm very curious to see how the Dolphins will be doing with that. I won't lie, I think I did get him a lot of the moves. Falcons coach Arthur Smith, job security in question, apparently now, which, like I said, I'm not too shocked. I just think how the NFL works. I don't know if they're going to keep him or not, especially with how loud the fans are getting, so we'll have to see. Last thing to talk about, apparently Devin White, there's some weird stuff going on with Devin White in the Bucs. He didn't play. Apparently rumors are he got benched, and then all of a sudden he did the old, I'm hurt now instead, after getting benched, so we'll have to see. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, we're going to finish this off real quick, talk about some bowl games. Like I said to start the show, 4-0 in bowling season so far. Let's go, boys. Bowling season has been a good one to start out. We got UTSA Marshall tonight. I got UTSA. It's 12.5 though, so I'm not going to I don't know if I'm going to take the spread, that big of a spread in a bowl game. But first game, Ohio versus Georgia Southern. Ohio wins 41-21. Absolutely blows the doors off them. That was the first bet I had. Shout out to them. Jacksonville State wins a close one, 34-31 against the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. This was a really fun game to watch. This one goes to overtime after Zion Webb throws a passing touchdown with 1:46 left. We get in the overtime. Both teams played tough, and ended up Jacksonville State's able to pull it away. In the pouring down rain, we had 12 turnovers in this game. Appalachian State wins 13-9 over Miami of Ohio. They're able to cover. So I technically didn't win this game, but I won the cover, so that makes us a 3-0 because I had them at plus 6.5. Man, yeah, there's like 12. This game was pouring down rain. There was puddles on the field and everything. It was wild. Fresno State wins 37-10 over New Mexico State. I really had nothing in this game, I remember, but the shout out to Fresno State, absolutely blowing them out, ending a really, really strong year for the Mountain West. For them, they started off their year beating Purdue, and I remember being like, what a storybook ending. They beat Purdue to start their year, one of the bigger opponents they faced this year, and then they end up beating New Mexico State to win it. Boise State ends up losing 35-23. I did almost give this one out, but I ended up holding off last minute, so I'm really glad I did because, yeah, they did not play too close. What ended up happening is I ended up betting Ohio. I decided to bet Ohio, stay off of Boise just completely, and then sure enough, UCLA ends up winning, so go me there. Texas Tech, I think I would have picked them out of all the teams. They end up winning 34-14 I had no clue in that game at all. I could have told you either team. The game that was really exciting, though, yesterday I'm going to end the show with this because I thought this was truly awesome. Old Dominion, Western Kentucky. Old Dominion goes up 28-0. Western Kentucky walks them back down. 2 block kicks. Even with Western Kentucky missing their leading receiver, all-time leading receiver in their school. Had 11 touchdowns on the year. They're missing him. Caden Veltkamp, 383 yards, 5 touchdowns, I think in his first start of his career in college. Shout out to the kid. Dalvin Smith had 9 receptions for 77 yards and 3 of them things. But yeah, they were down 28-0. They end up making a marching comeback. They go to OT, block the kick in OT, end up kicking their own field goal in overtime to win. This was a wild, wild game to finish. I watched the end of it while I was finishing stuff up, and man, wild-ass game, honestly. But yeah, So you'll see me on Thursday. That'll do it for today, obviously. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for the support. Thursday we'll go over my picks. Pick 'em, per usual. Hey, big 3 weeks, man. We got week 16, week 17, week 18. I'm about, I think, 20-ish out of third, about 30-something out of first. We get 10. We go up 10 points every single week. We make some magic happen. So that's the goal. So we'll do that. We'll go over NFL bets, and then we'll finish with college bets. We'll be talking about on the Boca Bowl, or the Boca Raton Bowl, the Gasparilla Bowl, and then we got like Camilla Bowl, Birmingham Bowl, Famous Idaho Bowl, Armed Forces Bowl, Ventures Bowl, Las Vegas Bowl, Hawaii Bowl. Those are going to be the bowls we're going to be talking about on Thursday. There's going to be some exciting games in there. I'm very excited for NFL Week 16. Insane to believe that the NFL season's already almost over, already this far into the season. Still doesn't feel real, man. Does not feel real. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the support. I really do appreciate it. I'll see everyone back in this feed on Thursday for some more football talk and more bets, maybe. And then also, just to add in, Hump Day Hoops. I will be bringing it back. We're going to wait till after New Year's. So basically, the week of New Year's will be probably when about Hump Day Hoops come back. I don't know if we're going to do Wednesdays or Saturdays. Still deciding, but be on the lookout for that. It's just Christmas, New Year's. You get it. Time of the season. But thank you all for watching. I will see everybody back in this feed on Thursday for, you know it, Pick 'em, college football bets, bowl game bets, NFL bets.